Judge, you're muted.
Okay, we're on the record in cause numbers 315-228 and cause number 324-534. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Keenan Rashad Simpson. Mr. Simpson, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Simpson, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes,
And Mr. Simpson, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, you need to put your hand down. Mr. Simpson, the information in cause number 315-228 alleges that on or about April 28 of 2017, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of of evading arrest, detention. Do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes,
And to discharge, wait up. Let me back up. Okay, let me back up. Now, Mr. Simpson, I have before me a first amended motion to revoke your unadjudicated probation. And in this motion, it alleges that in County Court at Law number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas, on October 18 of 2017, that you were given deferred adjudication of 1 year for the Class A misdemeanor offense of evading arrest, detention. The state has filed a motion to revoke your unadjudicated probation, and that was filed on October 30th of 2019. In this motion, Mr. Simpson, there are 11 allegations.
Your Honor, at this time, the state's abandoning, as part of the plea agreement, counts 2 through 11.
2 through 11?
Yes, Your Honor. So
Okay.
he's going to only have count 1 left.
Okay. Now, Mr. Simpson, the state in count 1 of this motion alleges that you committed the offense of criminal trespassing in that on or about the 28th day of September 2019 in the county of Jefferson, state of Texas, that you did then and there intentionally and knowingly enter inside the premises of another, namely Kevin Broxton, without the effective consent of Kevin Broxton and the said defendant and you had noticed that the entry was forbidden against the peace and dignity of the state in violation of condition 1 of your probation order. Is that true or not true?
true.
Now, are you pleading true to allegation 1 freely and voluntarily?
Yes,
And are you pleading true because it's true?
yes,
Okay, now, Mr. Simpson, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, which is the misdemeanor plea admonishment. On page 2 of this document, there's 2 sets of initials. One set is under the paragraph that is titled waivers, and it's next to a box that's checked that's MTRP, which stands for motion to revoke probation, and true to allegation number 1. Are these your initials on this line?
yes,
And the next set of initials is under a paragraph that is titled discovery admonishment, and it is on a line that states, I do not request discovery of the evidence. I waive my right to request discovery of in this case, and to enter a plea. In this one, it says guilty, no contest, but your plea is true. Is that correct?
yes,
Also, on page 3 of this document, there's a signature above the line that says defendant. Is that your signature?
yes,
And on the next document, which is the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, there's a signature at the bottom of this document that purports to be yours above the line that says defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes.
And there are two boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The second box states that you are waiving or giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Simpson, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did you read these documents?
Yes.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Simpson, the state is offering State's Exhibit number 1 to be used as evidence against you in this case. State's Exhibit number 1 is the document that have your initials on page 2 and your signature on page 3. Is it all right for the state to use this document as evidence against you in this case?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Simpson, State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Simpson, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No.
Okay, Mr. Simpson, I will accept your plea true to allegation 1. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to revoke your unadjudicated probation, and your unadjudicated probation is hereby revoked. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. It's for 180 days credit for time served, tax, and retire of the court costs.
Okay, now, Mr. Simpson, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for this, because you've already served 180 days in jail. Now, and therefore you'll be given credit for time served. If you owe any court costs, you will not have to pay the court costs either because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs in this case will be taxed and retired. Mr. Simpson, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Simpson, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Simpson, we will proceed to your next case, which is cause number 324534. And the information in this case, Mr. Simpson, alleges that on or about September 28th of 2019, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespass. Mr. Simpson, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, Mr. Simpson, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading guilty because you are actually guilty?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Simpson, also, now in both of these cases, Mr. Simpson, prior to you entering a plea of guilty, that you was given a judge's explanation of rights to defendants without an attorney. And in that, you were given 3 options. 1, you could hire an attorney, or 2, if you did not have enough money to hire an attorney, you may request an attorney, or 3, you may represent yourself. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you stated to the court that you wanted to waive your right to an attorney and represent yourself. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in addition, you were read the waivers and you signed the waiver that was located in State's Exhibit number 1, whereby you were informed that you had a right to have an attorney. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that's in paragraph, actually it's on the misdemeanor plea admonishment. I think it starts with the fourth sentence stating that I have been advised this day by the court of my right to representation by counsel in the case pending against me. I have been advised and understand that if I am determined to be indigent, counsel will be appointed to me free of charge, understanding my right to have counsel appointed to me free of charge. If I am found to be indigent, I want to waive that right and request the court to proceed with my case without an attorney being appointed to me. I specifically waive my right to be represented by an attorney, to consult with an attorney. Before I give up these enumerated rights, it is my decision to represent myself, and I do so knowing the dangers and disadvantages of self-representation. I further elect not to request appointment of counsel. Is that correct? You're on mute.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Simpson, on state's exhibit number 1, there are a set of initials on page 2. One is on the line that says guilty, and the other one is on the line that says you do not request discovery of the evidence, and you waive your right to request discovery in the case, and you chose to enter a plea of guilty. Is that correct?
Yes.
And on page 3 of this document, there's a signature above the line that says defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes.
And there's another document here. This document is titled Trial Court Certification, Defendant's Right of Appeal. Above the line that says defendant, is that your signature?
Yes.
There are 2 boxes that's checked on this document. The first box says that this is a plea bargain case. You have no right of appeal. And do you understand that?
Yes.
And the second box states that you are waiving, which means you're giving up your right to appeal. And do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, prior to signing and initiating these documents, did you read the documents?
Yes.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
State I have before me, state's exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer state's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Simpson, the state is offered state's exhibit number 1. That's the document. They have your initials on page 2 and your signature on page 3. The state would like to use this document as evidence against you in this case. Is it all right for the state to use this document as evidence in your case?
Yes.
Okay, no objections. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. And again, Mr. Simpson, in this case, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No.
Okay, Mr. Simpson, I'll accept your plea of guilty, and I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I'll also find that your plea of guilty and waivers was freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. It's for 180 days, credit for time served, tax and retire of the court cost.
Okay, Mr. Simpson, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 180 days. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. If you owe any court costs, you will not have to pay the court costs either because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. Simpson, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
Or do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
Do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Simpson, I'll follow the plea bargain agreements that you've entered into with the state. Mr. Simpson, please follow the bailiff and have a good day.
Yes.
All right, you may be excused.